Okay, welcome to the channel. Now, what I thought to do today is I bought this amplifier. It's a Marantz PM5005, and I'll do a video to do some comparisons anyway with this amplifier, see what I think of it in another video. But for today's video, I just thought it'd be interesting because this amplifier, I think, came out in 2004, went up to about 2007 was it to 2014, something like that anyway. So we're talking it's about 10 years old, though the one I managed to get hold of seems to be in good condition. The chap who I bought it off said it's not been really used a lot, but anyone can say that, I suppose. But yeah, it looks fair enough. I'll give it a quick go, but I haven't changed anything. I thought what I'd do is have a look at the readings, see how near they are to when they left the factory them years ago. Has anything changed? Can I alter it just to get it back within spec, maybe with the DC offset and also the bias. So what I'm going to do today is just do both of them and just go it through with you. Now I'm going to do the speakers first. So I've downloaded the instructions and I'm going to do the DC offset first. Hopefully you can see that bit of paper. Now I've got this amplifier on at the moment and actually turned on, but it is plugged in. So if you do anything like this, be extra careful because obviously this amplifier is plugged in and you can get an electric shock off of it. So just be very, very wary of that. If you don't know what you're doing, best not to do it really. But this is what I'm going to do anyway. Just going to show you what I'm going to do. Now the main part, I'm just going to show you where the main voltage is actually in this amplifier. It's coming here from the mains at the back. You probably can't see my finger, but I've got a not much good if I can't see my finger, but it's here basically. Hopefully you can see. Oh, I can see it. There it is on the camera. And that little circuit there has got the mains going to the transformer there. And if I touched any of them, I'm going to get a bit of a belt. As we come over the other side of the transformer here, you can just see my finger. These wires here, the voltage just considerably drop, but still don't want to start touching things and all that. So I'm going to be extra careful because I've done this in the past many years ago when I managed to drop the screwdriver onto the board and short a few things out, all microprocessors and all that kind of stuff, and that was the end of that. So that can easily happen, so be careful if you're attempting this. Best to use a plastic screwdriver. When I say plastic, I mean plastic all the way through, something not like this. I keep telling people to do it, but I haven't got one myself. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, this is metal, and yeah, if I drop this I could short a few things out, so I'll make sure I hold extra tight to this. Don't catch it or drop it anywhere on the board and cause any havoc. Not that it may do, but it could do. So anyway, going back, I've downloaded the instructions. Like I say, we're going to start off with the DC offset first. I'm just going to quickly go through the instructions before turning on. Insert the digital voltmeter on the back there on the speaker. It's going to show you a picture where I actually connect it. You can't see here, but I'm going to stick a picture up on the screen, so don't worry. Adjust the volume to minimum, which I've done, and knock the camera over at the same time. Turn the power switch to A. It's already set on A. Speaker set A. Adjustment is started immediately. So we're going to go for the left channel and the right channel. Now I forgot which one's what here actually. I kind of jumped ahead of myself here. So the left channel is V6003, and I'm not too sure. It's these two here basically. So we're going to see what they measure before I do any adjustments. These are the two adjustments here for the DC offset. So what I thought I'd do is read them both first of all. Now they're supposed to be at 0. You want to adjust it between 0 millivolts and that's plus or minus 3 millivolts. So it can go 0, it can go minus 3 millivolts, plus 3 millivolts. But we're going to try and get it as near as possible to 0. Sometimes these can be a bit finicky. Got to go backwards and forwards, let them settle down, these little variable resistors here on the circuit. There's my voltmeter. It's not turned on, so I'm going to carry on them instructions as they say. First of all, though, we're going to take some readings just for a matter of interest. I'm not too sure which channel's what here actually, because I've kind of got it backwards here, but we're going to do one channel and the other. It's not really going to matter which channel's what, but we're going to try and see how near that is to the factory settings. Now I haven't touched this, like I've literally got it, taken the lid off, and I haven't touched anything. So this is exactly how I got it. So it'd be interesting to see how it's come to me, if it's wandered off, if it's stayed put, all that kind of stuff. And just one more thing, these screwdrivers are dug out here. Obviously I haven't gone in the board and tried them out yet, so I've got about 3 here. Make sure I don't drop any of them. We've got about 3 here. Hopefully one of them 3 is going to do that, because I didn't want to start putting them in there and making sure they fit, because obviously I'm going to start turning them pots, and that's something I don't want to do yet, because I want to see how it was as I got it, how it compares to leaving the factory. Now just one more thing before I actually do anything is that depending what factory and where these things come from, you get some people like, you know, when I used to work at a factory, used to be a couple of people there that couldn't really give much care, you know, much attention to what they're doing. There are other things going on and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you could get one of these testers or one of these people setting it up that's maybe not quite got his eye on the ball. I'm not saying they do it these days, but it could easily happen. Just, you know, sometimes they don't always come out the factory exactly as they do. So just something also to bear in mind. Maybe, you know, something you may want to check with your particular amplifier receiver, but be extra careful, make sure you know what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. Right, here we go. Finally, about 10 minutes in, Mick, we're finally going to get some reading. So what I'm going to do, I've got my two leads here. I'm going to plug them into the back. They just kind of rest in there. That's the positive there on one of the speakers. Not too sure what channel that is. I haven't got my glasses in today. Should have had my glasses on. Now make sure you don't short it out. So there's the other channel. And we're going to make sure it's got good contact there. So I'm going to kind of hold them in place while turning the actual amplifier ain't on. There's me mate, as you can see it wobbling about there at the moment, but I ain't actually turned it on. I'll make sure all my hands are clear and everything else. The volume's down to 0. I've got it on auxiliary actually, but we'll turn it on. There's the relay just clicked there, as you heard. Hopefully picked it up on the microphone, and let's try and hold these dead so we get a good reading. You've got to hold them in there nice and tight. 41.4. It's wandering about a bit because my hand's moving at the back. It's just shaking a little bit. So 41.45 minus, so that's quite a bit out from the 0 we actually want. So I'm not too sure which pot actually turns this. So we're going to dive in and turn one. No, I mustn't turn any pots yet because I'm going to see what the other channel does, just in case I turn the wrong channel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it off. At the front, you'll see that drop down. I'm going to whip these out. I'm going to put them in the other speakers. So I'm going to do red to red and black to black on the speakers. Make sure I've got them the right way round. In fact, I'm not too sure I've got the others the right way round, but it'd be plus or minus the 41 millivolts or whatever it was. 45 was it, something like that. So we're going to do the same here. I'm in my own way here, so you can't see nothing. That's no good. Let's get around the other side. Just bear with me. It'll be a longish video probably, but here we go. If you want to see it, you do. If you don't, you don't. That kind of thing. So it's on, but we'll wait for the relay to kick in. There's the relay, and if I can get it steady, we're at minus 24 millivolts, 24, 25 minus millivolts. So either way around doesn't really matter. But we're going to try and level that up. Now I've got it plugged in. It doesn't matter if I touch these. So we can see one of them was on 40. One of them's on 20 something, so they are out from the 0. So now I'm going to dive in. It's one of these two pots that's going to do this side. I'm going to turn one gently. It should move. If it doesn't move, I've obviously got the wrong side. So let's go in without getting all my hands in the way and everything. I'm going to have to come over here. Didn't really think this out, did I? Let's come over this side. We're going to turn this top one first. We've got no movement on that, so it's not that one. That must be this bottom pot that's going to do this channel. So just show you a picture of them pots actually on screen before I do any turning. So this is the one I'm turning for this channel. Anyway, let's give it a go. There we go, gone the wrong way. Watch the meter. Ah, that's better. Oh, gone a bit too far. They are very finicky. Just some slight adjustments there, very slight. I'm moving these like less than a millimetre kind of thing. Very slight touches. Oh, let's take it out. We're going to get as near as 0 as possible. We've got it minus 2. Is it worth me going back in there? Could be a long video, but we're settled for that. So we have moved it to minus 1.4. So we'll stick with that. We're going to turn that one off. Just thought to mention this, prior to this, I did have the amplifier actually on for about 10 or 15 minutes. Just wanted to mention that as well, just to make sure it kind of got a bit of warmth to it. Obviously, I've turned it off, set the camera up, but it has been on for a little bit. Okay, so we're going to flick it over to the other channel. Let's get them the right way round, these leads. Make sure I've got them the right way round. Positive and negative into the other channel. They're the right way round on the speaker terminals. So we're going to dive in here. Really turn the camera off then. Turn the actual amplifier on. Make sure my hand's clear of everything. Wait for the relay to kick in. And there you go. We're on minus... Was it a bit higher last time, wasn't it? Oh, I turned the wrong pot, didn't I? I turned the wrong pot a minute ago, didn't I? So that's what done that. Just going to say what happened there. But is it this one I've got to do? I forgot. Getting too excited. It is this one. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. I'm obviously rushing this a bit. Just take your time. but I will get it to near as zero as possible off camera before I actually test the amplifier out. Just some very fine adjustments here. Now, really fine. We're going to whip that out there. So 1.1. That'll do. That's near enough for this video. So there you go. Now we've adjusted them 2 pots there. I'm going to turn it off and whip them leads out. So that was the DC offset done there. So yeah, so it's well worth doing. That was definitely out on it, but what was it, 0.4 something, and the other one was 0.2. Now we've got it near enough to zero on both channels. So they were out. So now we're going to go and have a little look at this idling current, the bias of this amplifier. We're going to see how they read and what they should read. And we're going to come back and double check that DC offset after we've adjusted them as well. So let's get on with that. Just going to turn the camera off. Okay, so we've got the DC bias we're going to do now. Now, I just want to mention, just before I actually do that, now I must remember that, where I'll put this, I don't grab hold of anything dodgy. This meter, make sure when you put your meter, I mean, if you're going to do it yourself, double check that you've got it on millivolts, on the setting millivolts. Mine's the minimum is 200. You may be able to go down to 20, but I'll put it about 200. It gives you quite a bit of leeway, especially if these are quite a bit out. Make sure you've got it on that setting, because if you've got it on the wrong setting, on resistance or something like that, it could actually short these terminals out. So be careful, and you could cause some damage to your amplifier receiver, all that kind of stuff that you're doing. But we're going back to this Marantz, this particular Marantz here, the PM5005. And what I'm going to do now, it's still plugged in. I've got it turned off at the front. I know where the actual mains is and all that, but if you're going to do something like this, unplug it before you kind of like start probing these leads in, because the next 2 sockets, there's one down here you probably can't see, and another one over here. This is where we're going to take our readings from. And you've got to be extra careful here. We want pins, if we get the instructions out, if we come over here and plonk the instructions down, put them up on the screen anyway, we want pin 1 and pin 3 connected to the little socket N6003, N6004 for the one for one channel, one for the other. We've got adjusted 2 variable resistors, which you won't be able to see anything here. 2 variable resistors there. I'm kind of hiding from you here, but you'll see me go in there and adjust them. I'll show you a picture on the screen where they are anyway, so you know where they are. And we want this, it says here, as you turn it on, from after 2 minutes, we want to adjust it to 10 millivolts to start off with, and leave it on for 6 minutes. So we're going to leave it on for 6 minutes. I'll speed that up. I'll kind of cut the video and come back again. Leave it on for 6 minutes. We're going to give it 10, say, something like that, and it should just let it warm up. It has been warmed up anyway, like I said previously. And we've got to get it up to 20 millivolts after 6 minutes. So there you go, and it says idling current decreases temperature after 30 minutes when you put the lid back on and all that stuff. But we're going to get this setting going as it is now, and it should hold itself once this is with the lid off. Once it warms up and everything, it should remain there. Obviously we're not going to be able to go in there and test it because we've got the lid on, but we'll take its word for it that it's going to stay the same. But let's get this to factory settings where it should be. First of all, we're actually going to measure this to see what it is now, so that'd be interesting. So we know the DC offset was off a little. We're going to see what this bias is, if this is near as close to what it was. I haven't touched these 2 parts, I haven't touched anything. Not too sure which way round, which probe goes what, but we're either going to get a positive or negative reading. Now on this, I did poke these leads in earlier, but I didn't do any adjustments or anything, just to see how they fitted. They kind of plot in there, they kind of fit in there, they're kind of wedged in there. You've got to be careful because you don't want to short out pin 1. There's actually 3 pins in there, so you don't want to short out pins 1 to 2, 2 to 3 or anything like that. What you could do, a bit awkward on this amplifier, I prefer to do it this particular amplifier, is get yourself, and sort of drop them, a set of these. These are like crocodile jumper things, but that's too technical for me, jumper leads. And what you can do is, rather than what I've done there, is actually, see what I mean, like it's all turned off, is actually connect your probe to one of the leads like that and actually push this lead in, clip it in there to the socket it's got to go in. So wherever it's got to go on the board, say for instance I had to go to this resistor here, hopefully you can see it, you could actually clip it onto that resistor. So you've got a nice fixing rather than trying to hold your lead onto it or something like that. Just an idea, rather than you doing something like this, trying to hold it on there. If you wanted to just measure that resistor or anything else, basically just letting you know that you can use a jumper lead or something like that on both connections. But this kind of wedges in there. Should get me glasses really. I'm doing this out of my glasses, so I should get them. Let's get them on there. You may see my head appear in the picture. Let's just come around the other side. Oh, like I say, I'm doing this a bit rushed. Don't forget we've got power over there. I'm quite happy with that to turn the amplifier on there. They're wedged in there on that little socket, which is handy. But you may want to use crocodile clips. Just be careful you don't short any of them out. And this is what I'm going to do now. So what I'm actually looking for, it should be 10 millivolts on turn on. So that'd be interesting to see what we get now. So we're getting 10.8. It's creeping up. The relay hasn't kicked in yet. There's the relay. And well, yeah, this is on turn on. We're not a million miles away. Now let's just have a read of that. We're not going to adjust anything. We're just going to leave it on. So what I'm going to do now is, just for a matter of interest, you can see it's creeping up. We're going to come back in 6 minutes time to see where it is. So I'm going to go off for 6 minutes and we're going to come straight back with the camera. Okay, I've left that on 6 minutes. In fact, you could leave it on a bit longer, I think, probably 10. But as you can see, it's kind of evening out there, 36.45, something like that. It may creep up a little bit more. It's actually going down a little bit now, but we need to get that to 20 milliamps at this stage. Now, what I did think actually is that I should have took all the readings at once before adjusting these other two pots for the DC offset, because they may have a trigger effect actually counterbalancing these and changing what I'm doing now. They could have done that, but as you can see, they were out anyway. So you know, we're kind of putting them both where they are. So adjusting one may have affected the other one, but how much so I don't know. But we're going to come back to them anyway, so we'll have a little look to see how far they did affect me adjusting this DC bias, how much it did affect that offset actually. We're going to come back to that anyway. But anyway, you can see this is out, so we know what pot this is. It's the nearest to that connector, so we know I'm going to get the right pot first time this time. So I might as well adjust it while I've got it plugged in. We're going to come over the other side and we're going to see what reading that gives as I received it, and adjust that if we have to. So let's adjust this one here anyway. Be careful here because we've got a transistor here quite close by. We want to make sure I don't drop this. This is why you should have a plastic one, all that kind of stuff. Be careful with your hands. You've got to get quite close now to the board as well. And it's got the power over here, don't forget. If I come over this side, we've got 250 volts, 240 volts over here as well. So be careful, you know, tendency to move your hand. Keep an eye on exactly what you're doing if you're going to attempt this yourself. Be careful where you prod this. Like I say, this should be plastic really, so I'm taking a bit of a dicey step here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with my right hand, which is a bit more steadier, onto that pot. Just seeing if you can see. Yeah, you can, but you can't see that meter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my left and make sure I don't drop it. And we're going to give this a little bit of adjustment. We're going to bring it down to the 20, but don't forget that you're supposed to be 10 when it turns on. So we're going to get down to the 20. Oh, gone a bit too far there, and I got carried away there. Let's come back up a bit. We're going to get that to near as 20 as possible after 6 minutes, and we're going to turn it off, let it cool down a little bit and see if it comes back on at 10 where it should be. So I'm quite happy with 19.7. That's near enough as possible. So I'm going to take this out gently, make sure I don't short anything out. It's actually crept up to 19.8 meters, just the weight of it there probably on that little variable resistor. So we're happy with that 19.8. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to come back off camera and make sure that is 10 when we turn. Well, actually, I'll do it on camera. I think it's 10 after about you know, a few minutes on, cooling down, should I say. We're going to come back and turn it on. So let's let it cool down a little bit. I'll turn the camera off. It's all turned off. So I'll come back in a second. Okay, I've just let it cool down for about 10 minutes now. So we're looking at 10 millivolts. If we get something like near that, to start off with, I think I'm going to be quite happy with that. But you may want to turn it off a little bit longer, make sure. But obviously the video's going to take a bit longer, and got other things to do, so I've kind of rushed it a little bit. So you know, I apologise for that. But you're going to have some kind of idea anyway of how to do this, and we're going to give it a reading anyway. So don't forget, we've got to wait for the relay to kick in as well. So it's probably going to give a reading as I turn on, but then the relay comes in to connect the speakers, so it may make just a little bit of a difference. So anyway, let's have a look. We're looking at we'll let the relay come in first. There's the relay. Hopefully you've heard that click in position. We're looking at 10 millivolts, so that's what we're looking at. Plus or minus 5 millivolts after 2 minutes, it says. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes, and it looks like it's going to be, you know, it's just creeping up a little bit. It looks like it's going to be something like that. So we're going to let it run through now. Actually, we'll let that run through. Probably been less than a minute, as you probably tell with the video here, and it's crept up to that 10. We're just going to see what it does after 6 minutes now. Yeah, I could let the video run, but I think you're going to get a bit bored. So what we'll do, I'm going to leave it until 6 minutes comes in, and I'm going to come back, I think. Okay, that's been 6 minutes exactly, and as you can see, it's still slightly creeping up. So I think it's going to get to the 20. Oops, it's saying that it's got to 19, but I'm not going to adjust it. I'm pretty happy with 19 anyway. But it's still warming up, even though it's been on here and there kind of thing. 19.1. That's near enough, in it. We're not a million miles out. I could sit here and just slightly adjust it if I wanted to, but I've got no idea. Is it going to creep up anymore? No, I think we're going to stick at 19.1. If we want to be really critical, 19.2. Oh, here we go. A little bit of adjustment there. So yeah, we're happy with that. I think we'll stick with that, and we're going to get onto the other channel. Okay, we're onto the other channel now. I'm kind of happy with them leads are. Just got to be extra careful. We've got to get to a pot. It's a little bit awkward to get to maybe, but see how we go. It's been off about 5 or 6 minutes. It hasn't been off that long, to be honest. We'll just swap the leads over. So we're going to see what the reading is as I got it, because we ain't made no adjustment to this. So let's have a little look. We're going to turn that on now, and we're shot up to 16, 17. It's going up quite fast, and we're going to leave it on for 6 minutes and just see if it gets to that. The relay just clicked in there, as you heard. We're going to see how far it goes to the 20 milliamps that we require. Like I say, I'm not too sure if I've got these leads the right way round. They're probably the wrong way round, pins 1 and 3. It doesn't really matter, because you're either going to get a positive or negative reading on the meter. Hopefully you can see it. You can see that meter. Just make sure you can see that. So we're going to get a positive or negative. We're going to leave it on 6 minutes. So I don't expect you to hang around 6 minutes. So I'm going to turn the camera off. We're going to come back in a few minutes, or 6 minutes time. Okay, just got a few more seconds really before it gets to 6 minutes. I just wanted to come in here really, because some people got this amplifier. I've been obviously read up about it, all that kind of stuff, and there have been a few common faults with this amplifier that you may not have picked up on. So if you have got this amplifier, it's a bit late in the video to tell you the common faults, but one of the channels dropping out can be one of these leads, these kind of connector leads here. And we can see one here. Just make sure, you know, obviously it's off, but make sure they're nice and tight. You may want to clean the connections between them leads. There's actually a lead that goes onto the front panel here, so you're going to have to take a couple of screws off at the side. And that, you know, a few people have been cleaning that, and the other channels pop back kind of thing. So it's just a few basic faults here. So just check the leads, these leads with little sockets, and there's one goes to the front panel here. So just, you know, to the tone controls, just make sure they're in nice and tight. You may want to put a bit of contact cleaner or something like that on it, and just double check that, because it could be just something as simple as that. The other fault that seemed quite common as well is actually the volume control. The pot itself actually goes on one side, so it would be a case of getting a new volume control for it. It's a motorized one. I think it's an Alps. It's a motorized one, so you would have to replace that yourself or get someone to do that for you. Obviously it could be something else completely different, but that's a couple of faults that seem to be quite common on this particular amplifier, and it may actually be on the this Marantz range, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. We're at 40. So what we're going to do, we're going to adjust that now to 20. Yeah, 20 we want, Mick, don't we? 20. So we're going to dive in here. Be careful with the screwdriver. So I'm going to do exactly the same. I'll make sure I don't touch these leads as well. I'm going to do it with my right hand, and even that's shaking a bit. Should have a plastic one really, not what I'm doing. And we're going to get that down to 20. So let's go this way first, and we're going the right way. That's good. And oh, there we go. That's not too bad, is it? We're going to whip this off really fast. There you go. Oh, as doing that, it's kind of just dropped a tad, which isn't great. What's that? Great. It's not. It's much better than what it was. Let's put it that way. But I could just finically just do that a little bit more. Yeah, I could give that a go. Should I just give that another little pop at that? Should I? It's a bit awkward with the camera here. I'd prefer to do this without the camera, but we're kind of here. If I don't get it right this time, I'm going to do it off camera, just so I can move all the leads out of the way and all that stuff and get a better view of it. We've gone too far. It's just very, very finicky. Just needs a very slight nudge. I whipped it off 20.5, 20.6. It's not a million miles away, is it? I think I'll settle for that. Like I say, if I really want to get in there, I could do it off camera. Gives myself a little bit more room. But I'm going to settle with that. We're not a million miles away. So what I'm going to do is turn it off, and we're going to turn it back on and see if we get that 10 milliamps to start off with. 10 millivolts, just stress that out to start off with. And then we're going to come back and look at that DC offset, and that's probably going to wrap up the video. Okay, I've only left it off for about 5-10 minutes, something like that. I've lost track a little bit because I was talking to someone, but it's not been off long, so we're hoping it's going to come on at about 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of creeps up pretty quick to that 20. But I'm not going to be too bothered about that. But, you know, if you're doing it, leave it off for an hour just to double check it. So, like I say, rushed it a little bit. But, yeah, let's give it a go anyway. Could be a bit of a surprise to see what we actually get. So we're looking at hopefully about 10 when we turn it on. And we're at 6.8, 6.9. It's going to creep up probably a bit quicker than it normally would, like I say, because it's not been off that long. Relay's going to kick in. And we're at 8, creeping up to 9. Supposed to give it 2 minutes at 10, but like I say, it's not been off that long. But I'm happy with that. That's going to be okay. That's going to creep up now to 20, thereabouts, over the next 6 minutes. So that's fine. We're happy with that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back and double check that DC offset to see where that is compared after doing these little adjustments, see if that's made any difference whatsoever. So let's turn it off and do that. Okay, I've got my leads kind of hanging in the back there. I'm going to turn it on and just hold them in with my hand. I'm going to stick a couple of pictures up towards the end of the video, some stills again, so you can see what I'm measuring where, what I'm adjusting. I'm going to stick them up. Hopefully that helps if you've got this particular amplifier. But anyway, let's give this a go. Got the leads kind of plugged in there at the back. I'm going to try and hold them in there. They're nice and tight. So we're going to turn it on. Meter's moving there, as you can see. We want it as near as 0 as possible. We're going to wait for the relay to kick in. There it is. It's shot up a little bit, but there we go. It's leveling itself out. And, oh, there you go. 0, 0.3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's going back down. I'm holding these tight as possible, these leads. Just a little bit of fluctuation. But there you go. That's not too sad, is it? Much better than what it was. Let's put it that way. So I don't think it's affected that the DC bias that much, actually. So we're less than 1. That's great. So we can do plus or minus 3, was it? Plus or minus 3. So we've got a bit of leeway, well within that. So let's check the other channel. Just going to turn it off now. There's the relay kicked out. Kicked out. Oh, turned off. Unplugged. Whatever. Disconnected. So we're going to flick over to the other channel. Just get them leads in there now. They're kind of there, but I'm going to hold them in so they've got good contact. So we're going to check this channel. Oh, I nearly turned the camera off there by mistake. So let's turn the amplifier back on. It's on. Hold them leads in nice and tight. Blow away any smoke. I'm only kidding. And there you go. What we got? Point. Yeah, near enough 0. Pretty much the same as the other side, really. Not too sure which channel I've done in what order. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's 2 channels. You want to get them both right. There you go. Point 1 now, just slightly creeping up a little bit there. So look, oh, it's going back down again. So it's steadying itself out, well within the minus. It's just that little adjustment. I can make just a slight more adjustment on that. Probably not worth all the aggro. We're creeping up a little bit here, 1.6. Well, we're going back down again, so it's leveling itself out. A little bit of probably my leads not making proper contact there. And there you go. So there you go. Pushing hard as I can on them leads now. Well within the plus or minus 3, that's for certain. We're at 0.81. So we're happy there. We're going to turn it off. I'm going to pull them out. And we're going to make sure we actually unplug the amplifier and all that now. But I'm going to wrap the video up there. So, you know, if you're doing this amplifier, any amplifier, obviously be careful. It's got live mains going into it. Download from iFi Engine any instructions you may need to actually do your bias and DC offset to check it and to adjust it, etc. But this was particularly about this amplifier here, an amplifier I bought that's you know, it's not new. It could be about 10 years old, depending when this chap actually bought it. And just wondered how far it's actually wandered off from leaving the manufacturers. And obviously me doing that is going to hopefully maybe get a little bit better sound out of it, and also make sure that maybe, you know, don't affect, it's going to cause any damage to these output transistors, anything like that. It's going to keep it within the spec, and these could be wildly out, you know what I mean, could have a few volts, you don't know until you actually check. You know, they could be spot on, but it's worth checking, I think. And like I say, matter of interest, particularly this amplifier. So I'm glad I did that, and hopefully this video may have helped out 1 or 2 people. I'm going to come back with a review of this amplifier very, very soon, but until then, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll leave you a few pictures, and I'll see you all soon.